I want to thank Cody for inviting me to come up and talk in front of all you guys. Give me the opportunity to see a bunch of new faces and catch up with a bunch of guys that I've talked to so far. Like I say, I have about 8-9 months of sales experience. So I'm not speaking from 25 years of watching equipment markets, seeing equipment move, but by golly, I just graduated college and I can do research, right? So spent the last week looking into what stuff's doing, made a few phone calls to a lot of dealers up in Canada, dealers around Montana, North Dakota, just around the general area to see what their opinions were. And for the most part, everything was pretty much in line. So I guess we'll get into it. Bottom line is everyone out here needs a piece of equipment to get the job done, right? Whether it's new or used. They need it to be reliable, you know. So I'm going to talk a little bit about both, mainly focusing on used and then plug in a little bit of what we sell at the end here. So current used market, where are we at? We're on the downhill slope. We're getting really close to the bottom. Historically, it's a fairly simple graph to follow. There's highs and there's lows. 2020, 2021, threw kind of a interesting curveball into the equipment market with the ability to produce and get our hands on new was obviously pretty poor. So what that did was drove our used markets way up, something we've never really seen before over that 20, 30-year period of the market. So sound like a salesman here, but now's the time. If you want to get into used equipment, we are at that bottom. How do I know that? We're in what they call a market correction. The biggest determining factor of that, and all the dealers that I talked to told me this, they said, when we see a 25% gap between asking value of equipment, and that's you guys trying to sell it, or dealers trying to sell it, and auction value. When we see a 25% gap or larger, that's a really good indication that the market is going into a correction. We're in a very low spot, and we're well over 25% on almost all equipment that comes through Tilleman's anyways. What else drives purchasing used in recent years? Cost pressure of new equipment, of course, is a big one. I talked to one guy and he said he believes, he's been selling equipment for 35 years. He believes we're coming to a point now where new is, it's going to be too high for 95% of people to even get into something new. And so I see that a bunch. New equipment is getting very expensive. So there's got to come a point there where there's a break in the action. Something's got to change. The other thing was the supply chain disruptions I talked about with COVID. That pushed everyone to use equipment, whether you could afford new or not. You couldn't get your hands on it. So that's another thing that boosted the used market in the last couple of years. The other cool thing that I noticed when I was looking at all these graphs was that new price and 5-year-old equipment was dang near a mirror image of each other. So new goes up, that 5-year-old piece of equipment follows it pretty dang close. And that's over the last 20, 30 years. Of course, after the 5-year mark, it starts dropping off significantly, especially once you get to the 10-year-old equipment. Kind of look at it like a car with 100,000 miles versus a car with 90,000 miles. They probably do the same exact job, get you from point A to point B, but in the eye of the buyer, it's a totally different machine, right? Same goes for your combine with 1,000 separator hours versus 900 separator hours. It's probably still a very good piece of equipment, but it's just not worth as much. Um, what else? The other thing that really pushed the used market that came with COVID was auctions. So, show of hands out there, how many of you guys have bought a piece of equipment off an online auction? Right? Yeah, probably half of you, if not more. So if I would ask that question 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I don't know if there would have been near as many hands. So that's one thing that COVID pushed farmers to and dealers to do too, is advertise everything online. And I think that was overall a good thing. It made the buying process for you guys fairly transparent, I feel like. You can go online, look at detailed pictures, get a nice description. And so it's made it very competitive for dealers as well compared to 20 years ago. Because you guys can go out and see everything that we have in inventory, everything that's that the dealers up in Canada have in inventory, so it makes it a little broader spectrum for you guys to get into. Sorry, I don't have a big fancy presentation here. I know there's lots of questions on tariffs. We get calls over the last like 4 or 5 weeks. We've been getting calls every day. People asking, what are these tariffs going to do to equipment prices? After talking to the dealers in Canada and all the other local dealers, it's unknown is the general consensus. So we're just kind of holding on, preparing ourselves for whatever is to come. I read this quote that I thought was pretty cool in regards to tariffs. It came from Kira Birkland. She's the director of policy for Montana grain growers. She said, while change can be challenging, it's often those most resistant to it who struggle the most. She also said in there, although change can be daunting, it can often be the catalyst for improvement and innovation. So that just made sense to me. You know, we don't know what's going to happen with these tariffs, but it's going to be the manufacturers who adapt to it quickly, and the dealers who can follow suit, who are probably going to be the most successful through the whole thing. I just wanted to throw a couple statistics at you guys too that I pulled off of Tractor House. You can do whatever you want with them. January 2025 year-to-year change, so reflecting on January 2024. This is the used tractor market. Asking value went down 4.3%, auction value went down 7.9%, and inventory levels were up 5.5%. And when I was looking into that, it was very obvious that huge dip in new from 2021 to 2023 and the giant spike in used. So what kind of happened is dealers got stuck with a lot of used equipment all over the nation. Dealers loaded up on used so they could satisfy that market, and now we got stuck with a bunch of equipment that no one needs or wants anymore. So what happened is a lot of these dealers were sending all their used equipment to auction. So that was an interesting phenomenon for dealers, I guess. Other statistics I got was combines, used combines year to year, 2025 to 2024. They stayed fairly steady. Asking value went up 1.5%, auction value stayed exactly the same, and inventory levels dropped 8.5%. That's about all I got for used equipment market for you guys. I want to just give a small look into what I think is a really exciting product that we started carrying at Tilleman Equipment here in late 2021, early 2022, and that's Fendt. I'm sure some of you guys have heard of them. If not, look into it, come ask me questions. The one thing I want to touch on Fendt is their warranty. I could talk about these tractors, combines all day, but I want to hit on their warranty while I'm in front of you guys because it's pretty exciting. So on a new Fendt tractor, standard warranty is 3 year, 3,000 hour, all scheduled maintenance is included. and a 48-hour loaner guarantee. That warranty is very similar on the combines and the sprayers as well. So I just think that's a pretty exciting thing. It's a big promise from the manufacturer, and yeah. So I guess thank you guys for your time and attention. I'll be around the rest of the day, including happy hour, where I might be more capable of answering questions. So my cell phone number's up there. Come find me and let's talk. Thank you guys.